Well, it's time for the party cook. That's right. Holiday weekend. Wife has invited all of her friends over. About 20, 25 people in total. So what we have in front of us is a festival of meats. We got the meats, we got the rubs. It's going to be a good one. We got a brisket. We got some large beef bones. We got some small beef bones. We got a surprise experiment that I'm going to work with here. I'll talk more about that later. We've got our pork ribs. And we've got our Boston butt coming up. Should be good. Oh, and I should put out a caution when shopping for parties of this nature. Had something happen to me when I was at the grocery store. Two separate incidences, but enough for a correlation. Anyhow, I think I was hit on by a couple of ladies. They basically came up to me on two separate occasions again, said, "Wow, you must have a big smoker." And at first I thought they were kind of hitting on me, and I think they were. I'm not sure what was actually going on. So really my only reply was, well, that's why my wife married me. Big smoker, get it? Yeah, never mind. All right, let's go. Okay, this is a scramble on a lot of fronts. First up is the brisket. Got myself a packer brisket. Now, when I go for these, I always choose the prime because the quality of the meat really matters. Also use that Heath Riles beef injection. Wanted to try that out, and I have to say I was kind of pleased. I think it does add a little bit of extra flavor to it, beef flavor to it, but you do need to be careful because it's easy to squirt yourself. Anyhow, I'm not the master of all things in terms of dusting up and getting everything evenly coated on the brisket and so forth. But I will say this. I'd use the garlic butter from, the Heath Riles, and then I use the Killer Harl's brisket on this one. And then one of the things that always gives me good bark for some reason is this hardcore carnivore, black, whatever that is. I'll have to find the name and put that down there in the middle of this. But anyhow, that stuff's good. Next up is a set of beef Dino ribs. These are those large beef ribs that you can pick up. And I gotta tell you, this really hit well. Now I seasoned this pretty much the exact same way as I did the brisket. Used a little bit of that Meat Mitch sauce as a binder, as opposed to using anything like mustard and whatnot. Scored the back of the ribs, just so we could get that, loosened up just a little bit, more. And yeah, that's that hardcore carnivore black. That's what I was trying to think of. Anyhow, this Meat Mitch stuff, it truly is awesome. And again, garlic butter from the Heath Riles, that sauce, going down first. I got to tell you that added some flavor there too. The Killer Hogs brisket seasoning, again, that put in place, and then again the hardcore carnivore black. Now, everything that I'm doing here is getting prepped for an overnight cook. Okay, so I'm getting all of the things I need to go overnight, and that included the brisket, these large beef, Dino ribs, and then of course the pork butt or the Boston butt. Now here we're just going to do this the way I usually do this. Okay, got ourselves a decent sized pork shoulder. Dried that off as usual, getting that looking nice. And then we're going to use yellow mustard as a binder on this one. But I'm also going to do the, again, Heath Riles, and this time the pork injection. And so basically going in a grid pattern all around here. And that's mixed up with apple cider in place there. And this is intended to give it good flavor and give it a little extra juiciness. Now in this instance, we used a couple of different seasonings on top of this. One of them was the Meat Church. I think it was the Honey Hog, and then I think we also used another one that was the all-purpose Gospel that they've got. And I gotta tell you, the flavor on this was pretty good as well. Just basically pack that in and let that sit, and then scored the fat cap on this. I'd seen that guy Heath Riles do this, and I gotta tell you, I was really pleased with how this turned out. So scored that up and put a little bit more extra seasoning on there so that it got down into those cracks and everything, and that worked out really well, and I think it gave it just an overall better cook. So yeah, got that all dusted and seasoned and looking just like we wanted it to, and then got it ready to go in the oven. Well, the indirect side, that is, of the smoker. Now here, went ahead and set everything up, got the probes in place so we could monitor everything, and pretty much just close the lid on this and let the RecTeq Dual Fire do its thing. Now I had started early, about 7 p.m. The night before, so got up early, roughly around 5 o'clock, and everything had hit temperature, so that was great. Went ahead and pulled the beef ribs out first to get them wrapped up. Covered it with a little bit more tallow just to make sure I kept everything in there moist. I gotta tell you, the bark on this was excellent, and you can see the pullback on those ribs. I mean, this really got some excellent color, and I gotta tell you, later it tasted fantastic. Now, I'm a sucker for butter, so you're gonna see me loading butter up on most of these. I just like the extra butter fat that it puts in on top of these other flavors that are there, and I think it just gives it some moisture and makes things come out tasting pretty good overall. So anyhow, double wrapped up those Dino ribs and put them back on the smoker for the moment in terms of smoke box, and then got prepped for the brisket to come out. In this case, took some more of that beef tallow that I had going on the side and wetted up the butcher paper. That brisket, again, it got some good color. Again, you can see that carnivore black stuff actually works out pretty nice. I gotta tell you, I enjoyed that. Every time I use it, I enjoy the performance it gives me. So anyhow, again, tallowed butter, it's a common theme. It's just what I do. Next, rolled that back up in the butcher paper there, got it as tight as I could. Still learning on this, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And got that in, and then again back onto the smoker. Now, next out, double foiled again. This time got the pork butt. You can see what I'm talking about there with that scoring. It just makes it look really nice, and this got some good color on there too. And yes, once more, we're going to treat this with a little bit of butter. But in this case, we're going to use some apple cider to pour in here for the braise and whatnot. And not a lot of it, but maybe about a quarter cup overall. And once we got that in place, again, just wrapping this thing up as tight as you can. And then, back in the smoker we go, And at this point, we're going to start raising the temperature a little bit, just so that we can complete the cook a little bit quicker. And we pulled that temp up to about 220. Now I got to tell you, again, color on the ribs looked fantastic. Color on the pork, again, looked real good. And then, of course, the brisket, it came out nice. Okay, time for that surprise I was telling you about. Prime rib, putting this on the indirect side, seasoned it just like I did the brisket. Got a great deal on this from the Randall's grocery store, $5.77 a pound for choice. Now, 3, 2, 1 on the ribs. You've heard me do this before or seen me do this before, but this time adding beef ribs there on the right to this. These are those beef finger ribs. Season them up and let them rest in the refrigerator for a couple hours. And then now what I'm doing is, again, 2 on the, one of each, on the indirect side, and then the other on the direct side. Last time I did this, we had a tie between which side of the dual fire came out the best. And I gotta tell you, it was still close. Anyhow, Step 2, did the wrap, got everything out, did the usual. Again, color on these came out really well on both sides. I was pretty pleased with that. And of course, got a lot of pullback on those beef ribs. Now the beef ribs did not score the back of these because that membrane actually helps to hold everything together. So left that there. For the pork ribs, did the traditional butter, brown sugar, and some of the apple cider. For the beef ribs, basically just put some butter on there and wrapped everything, back up. So that was pretty straightforward. And again, on each of these, I'm doing the double foil. My biggest challenge in life is, tearing foil on the grill and having all that good juice and everything spill out. I just hate doing that. Heavy duty double foil, it just saves me. Okay, once that prime rib hit its temperature, pulled that out, went ahead and wrapped that up as well. Again, you're gonna see me do the butter thing. I just can't help myself. It's just what I do. And like you saw me on the brisket, I tend to, go a little bit of beef tallow in there just to, keep things moist and, love the flavor that brings to it. So that tallow is coming off the trimmings that I did on the brisket, when I trimmed it down earlier. At some point I'll probably do a brisket video, but just believe me when I tell you, I'm not the best trimmer. So that's why I've been avoiding that kind of a video. But I do know how to, let the tallow build inside the smoke box. That seems to be my specialty. Now, surprise number 2, the second half of the prime rib. In this case, did butter, herbs de Provence, 500, and then dropped it down to 272. That was 500 for about 30 minutes, or 27 minutes. Now, for the ribs, got to a point where it was sauce time. In this case, put everything open, pulled them out, and gave them each the appropriate sauce. For the beef ribs, I did the meat mitch, which again I think worked out very, very well. And then for the pork ribs, went with a more traditional kind of barbecue sauce with a little bit of vinegar in it. Now, in addition to the color, I gotta tell you, the feel on these ribs was good too. It had a nice pliability in there. I could tell these were going to be just the way we like to eat them at home. After getting those ribs back on, we checked on the direct side. There you go. That was looking tasty. Pulled that out. All that crust on there came out just like I liked it, and that hit a good temp of 110 inside. Next, the ribs were done. It's time to pull them in and basically take them into the kitchen and let them rest for a bit. Yeah, that one little piece fell off, and I can tell you, that was in my favor right there. That tasted pretty good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, made some sausage balls. This was something off the Meats Church website, and I'll do another video on that. That's going to come up when we start talking about baking a few things. Those were really, really tasty. Now I had everything resting in the kitchen, and the guests showed up, and this was it. This was showtime. Getting everything in front of everybody. We started off with the ribs and just rotated with multiple courses of meat. You can see the smoke ring that those ribs got on there. Fall off the bone good. Everything was just perfect on that. Got the pulled pork in place, and there you go. Time to dig in and get everybody involved.
What it means is it's done when that bone pulls out like that.
Yeah. This is crazy looking good.
Yeah. All right.
You can just grab some ribs. Beef is there. Pork's on the other side. Now I got to tell you, got the brisket out, and the jiggle on this thing was so nice. This felt really good. And went ahead and drizzled a little bit of that remaining tallow in there just to help, everything. This was good.
check that out. There you go.
Okay, now again, I'm not the best at slicing things. I think the salmon video, the surf and turf video kind of showed that. But hey, I gave it a shot. Now again, the smoke ring on this, fabulous. Just fabulous. Oh, by the way, that was not my finger over the camera. As you can see, I was in front of it. Anyhow, time to unleash the Dino ribs. And these came out looking pretty good too. But I gotta tell you, they were fall off the bone good. And one of those bones came off, and there was a happy hound that night. Anyhow, excellent smoke ring on these as well. And they were just super tender. And yeah, that was my chef's choice bite. Chopped a little bit up and put some barbecue sauce in there. Yeah, there's a shot of that smoke ring again. And made a little chopped beef sandwich for myself on the side. And I nibbled on that in between everything else. Yeah, lots done. To-go boxes were had. Oh, and now your public safety advice and a moment of zen.
I'm thinking you must have a really big smoker.
And yeah, do me a favor, like and subscribe and give me some comments. Truly appreciate it.